Hey guys, it's Friday. Welcome back to another episode of Trucker Money, where we talk about building an income and building a life outside of trucking to make your life more resilient, and hopefully someday, just someday, we'll all get that retirement that we've been working so hard for. You have to take things into your own hands because nobody else is going to do it for you. This is not investment advice. I'm just sharing my personal journey to hopefully inspire and motivate you to get out there and do something epic. Really take the bull by the horns and just take control and get it done for yourself. Nobody else is going to do it for you. So I like to start every episode with kind of like a little lesson, or just talk about something money related in general. And you get to see some of my fantastic artistry on the board behind us here. So let's get into this. Now, if you're a young person or older person, it really doesn't matter. Traditional wisdom is to just grow your money as best you can, so you have the biggest pile of money when you get older and ready to retire. Well, they don't really tell you there's always other ways to do things, and some things get overlooked. I'm not saying that's not a good strategy. It is a good strategy. It's been effective for a long time for a lot of people, but there's also other ways, and I kind of believe, for me personally, that kind of a blend of different strategies seems to work out best for me. So let me kind of show you what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to kind of compare growth investing to income investing. The income side of it is too much overlooked. And for me personally, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can be a little bit of each. So the traditional theory is for growth, to grow your biggest pile of money that you can and live off of that. Well, just say, for instance, for the sake of explanation, that money was like trees, okay? The growth strategy would be like, if you're 30 years old, plant a redwood tree, because that redwood tree will go big and tall. When it's time to retire, you got this great big tree here to live off of, okay? So you might put a little bit in an S&P 500 fund. You might put some in a growth fund. You might put some in a bond fund. Probably have some foreign fund exposure. This is what your typical financial advisor would do to get a great big nice strong tree when you retire. I don't know if you can tell that's a tree or not. On the income side over here, we're going to have fruit and nut trees, okay? Maybe you're going to have a couple rental properties, rental real estate, maybe some dividend stocks, some dividend ETFs, maybe some other kinds of real estate like private equity, REITs, things like that. You'll notice that these trees don't grow as big, do they? Let's say you were 30 years old and you started all these different trees from seed. Obviously this one's big and strong, these are smaller. Come retirement, how are you going to live off such small trees? Well, on the growth side of things, say you grew your tree to $2 million over here. Well, to take money out of that, you got to start chopping branches off. So now your tree just got a little smaller. Next year you're going to have to chop another branch off of this tree to get your income to live. So if you can see what's happening here, in retirement, you're chopping down that tree and you're depleting an underlying asset to get your money. Now, this tree, if it was money, would continue to grow in retirement. But how hard do you think it's going to be for this tree to grow when you're constantly chopping branches off? It's going to be a little harder, isn't it? Plus, by the time you're ready to pass away, what's going to be left for your children or your heirs? Not a whole heck of a lot. Over here on the income side, well, let's say our rental real estate here is I suppose that's an apple tree. Our dividend stocks, well, maybe that's a plum tree and a cherry tree. Our dividend ETF, well, maybe that's a pecan tree. We're going to have some nut trees here. I have some pecans. So when you need your income every year, you just harvest this fruit. You're just picking fruit. Notice how you're not touching the underlying asset. That tree's still big, strong, and healthy. And what happens next year? Without you doing anything, the fruit grows back, doesn't it? And you're never touching that underlying asset. Plus, there can be some distinct tax advantages depending on how you set things up versus growth. So, that kind of explains a little bit of why I do what I do. Look how much you're gonna, even long after you're dead and gone, these trees are gonna continue to produce fruit. Maybe you got instead of real estate, maybe you got a business down here. Maybe that business survives after you're gone or retired and somebody else can run it. These assets will transfer to your children and keep producing fruit. So, it's kind of an illustration of what I'm talking about when I talk about all these things. Yeah, of course, these trees aren't going to grow as big as a redwood. They're not designed to. But you can't eat the branches off a redwood. You got to chop them off, which basically you're selling your shares of your funds to get that money. Over here, you're not having to do that. So, that's just kind of an illustration of why I do what I do. I think, for a lot of people, a mix is appropriate. And it doesn't even have to be all this. You can add in cash and this and that. But, in my opinion, just my personal opinion, diversifying like this is what kind of gives you the best chance of getting that retirement you've been working so hard for. So now let's talk about why we're here in the first place and talk about the money that came in the week of June 1st through June 5th. All right, so let's recap our income for the week of June 1st to the June 5th. Like to do this every week. We'll get right into it here. Now, first of the month, we always have some rental income come in. Pfizer paid us. Pfizer's current yield is 4.22%. Interesting, something's going on pretty interesting with Pfizer right now. They're going to be spinning off their Upjohn division, merging it with Mylan Labs. It's supposed to happen sometime this year. So we'll be gaining shares of a whole new company. Don't know what it'll be called yet. Don't know if it'll pay a dividend. Be interesting to see what happens there. Aflac, current yield is 2.85%. I just currently reevaluated, looked at the numbers again for Aflac. I'm really liking it. I really wish I had a pile of money to buy some more, but in that account I'm short on cash right now. Unilever. You know who Unilever is. They make Klondike bars, Dove soap, Axe body wash, things like that. Current yield of 3.25%. Then Honeywell. We all know who Honeywell is. Current yield of 2.31%. I did something I don't often do this week. I sold something. Given the current situation and current times, I was rethinking things. I went through everything I own and decided, what in here do I not have the utmost confidence in? If I have something here that I don't just believe in wholeheartedly, they're gone. I don't care if it's a good company, bad company, or what, but I think in these times like this, it's kind of the strategy I want to take. I sold Hillenbrand. Hillenbrand is an industrial company. They make packaging machinery. They also own Batesville Casket Company, which I would think in a time like this would be hopping, but just not seeing it all that much. So I weeded them out. I just didn't have a 100% confidence in them. So what did I do with that money? I put half into cash, and I'm going to hold that cash and wait for a buying opportunity in something else. Then I distributed the rest between 4 different positions here. Cisco, current yield of 3.07%. That's Cisco, the food service company, not the computer company. Royal Bank of Canada, with a current yield of 4.46%. Toronto Dominion, which is another Canadian bank, 4.97% yield on that one. And PBCT, which is, it's just a small holding. I never put a lot in here. It's a regional bank in the U.S., People's United Bank, yield of 5.69%. So made some changes. Like I said, I don't often sell because I'm pretty comfortable with most things that I have, and I just feel like the market's been on a run upwards, and I thought I might take advantage of it. Later on, I could always get back in if I want, but my tolerance for that at this very current moment in time has changed a little bit. So that's what we've done this week. Now, I only do this to inspire and motivate. And I'm hoping that I can inspire people to really take charge and take control. Get out there and do something epic for yourself. Nobody else is going to do it for you. I'm not saying you have to go out and invest in dividend stocks or real estate. You pick what's right for you. And if you don't feel comfortable investing at all, don't do that. But knowledge never hurts. Knowledge is always, it's free. And you know, a lot of times there may come a point in your life when you're ready for something, you're ready to do something. So spending all this time gaining knowledge makes you more prepared when the time comes. So y'all take care, be safe out there on the road, and we will talk to you next time.